we're about to enter car launch, and what does that look like? Well, to be honest, it depends on what the team are trying to achieve, because primarily you've got three different sorts of car launches. Now, the first one is the one that Haas are going to do. That is what they call a traditional livery launch. That is going to be probably that season's car or a show car mocked up with the brand new livery to show off all of the new sponsors, all of the new title sponsor, and to just showcase what the car is going to look like and sell merchandise. It's not designed in any way to show anything about the car or the direction they've taken. It's just purely, this is what it's going to look like. A piece of sponsors, loads of camera shots, new driver lineup, job done. Then we've got a bit more of what we call a glitzy launch. So this is where likes of Red Bull going to New York, AlphaTauri, Aston Martin with their launch. Now, this tends to be slightly different, so it's a lot more about the event rather than the car itself. But again, it's driven commercially, it's driven for sponsors and to show off the new livery and to sell merchandise ultimately. But what you do get sometimes on this occasion is you do sometimes get a new car. So Aston Martin, for example, has said they're going to use the 2023 car, or you'll get a modified 2022 car. But what you won't get is you won't get anything that shows you anything sort of innovative or anything that's radical or anything like that. Mercedes tend to use this style as well. However, where Mercedes tend to differ is they tend to do what's called a shakedown after their event. Now, a shakedown is normally one of the team's 2 filming days. For those of you who are not aware, every team, every season at the moment gets 2 filming days. This is where you can run the car, this season's car, with a limit of 100 kilometres and on specially developed Pirelli tyres. The whole point behind this is to 1, gain footage of the car on track, but 2, it's an in-season test. But as you're limited to 2 of these, you've got to be pretty wise to where you use those tests from. Now, Mercedes tend to run theirs, what they call a shakedown, straight after their launch event. They run it so they can get instant feedback from the drivers on the car. They run it so they can check all the systems are fine, all of the electronics, all of the components that go into it. They tend to always do this and follow this pattern. So you probably will see the W14 on track. However, last season we know they pulled a bluff with the W13, but I don't think they can afford to do that this year with only 1 pre-season test going on. So expect to see the W14, but expect to not see anything that could give anything away. So the camera shots are controlled by Mercedes, so they can be very limited on what you see. So these, what they call filming days, like I said, you have 2 of them. You can run them at any point of the season and on any track. So if you use one right at the start of the season, you've got to be really careful because that only leaves you 1 for the rest of the season. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments.